The image effects primitive found within the global primitives folder allows you to create transitions between images. So I'm going to drag my image effects down, and I have my bounding box on, so you can see that when we drag it down we actually don't see anything, but since I do have my bounding box on, it kind of gives us an outline. So first I'm just going to scale this up a little bit to see it, and this primitive allows us to create transitions between images. So I'm going to be using this primitive to create transitions between two images. So first I'm going to click on my image effects here, and the first thing that we notice here is our first tab. It says image, and we have these two boxes. So I'm going to go into my server and grab two types of images, and I'm going to grab this first image and I'm going to drag it into this add box. You can see when I do that, it adds it into the scene tree and it hides it. It has the eyeball hidden, and I'm just going to find another image here, and I'm also going to drag this into the add box. And when I do that, it also adds it as a subcontainer of the image effects. Now there's a lot of different ways and variations that you can use this primitive. My way may be different from someone else's, but the way that I do it, my next step is to come into the control setting here, and we have a couple of type of options here. Under our play mode, we have the option for animation, global animation, and auto. I'm going to change this to animation, and when I do that, our progress becomes active. So what I'm going to do is rewind my timeline, and I'm also going to set this one at 0, and I'm going to set a keyframe there. My timeline advances to 60. Now I'm going to advance my progress to 100%, and I'm going to set a keyframe. And when I did that, you can see how our images change. So if I hit play, what we have now is just basically a cut between two images. So now I can go back and just kind of play with the variations of the other settings. And we have a lot of different tabs up here. We have, besides the image where we added our images, we also have a geometry, a trigger, effect, and our control. So first I'm going to go back into my geometry. And within the geometry tab, we have a geometry type. So we have tiles, mesh, triangles, or random triangles. When I change each one, you don't notice a difference. So for now, I'm just going to leave it on tiles. So under tiles, we have a couple of options, and we have things like spacing. So when I space this, you can see how it's creating spaces between this image. And we also have a border here, so we can add a border. If we wanted to add a color on this border, we can also do that. So I'm going to momentarily leave it as it is. I'm going to come over to my next tab here where it says trigger, and within trigger we also have what's called a range, and we also have other options here where we can trigger this or set variations in our animation. Now it's set by default to noise and wave. So for instance, I'm just going to change this to domino for now, and we'll see where we're at. Next I'm going to go to effect, and within the effect we have more options. So right now I'm just going to change from scaling to rotation, and I'm going to turn on my X here and maybe just make some small adjustments here. Now once I have a couple of adjustments, what I'm going to do is come down to the play button. I'm going to hit play, and you can see that we have some type of transition here. Now I don't really like that, so now I can go back and start tweaking this more. So for instance, I want to get rid of these borders. I'm going to reset my border here, and I'm going to reset my spacing. And if I hit play now, you can see we have another transition. So instead of using tiles, maybe I want to try triangles, and I'll hit play. We have another variation. Instead of triangles, maybe I'll try the mesh. Hit play, and we have another setting. So let's change it back to triangles. We'll go into our next tab of trigger, and instead of using domino, maybe we'll change it to clock. We hit play, we have a variation. We can go to random. Now it's a little bit different. And let's try the effect. So we'll come in here, and instead of rotation, we'll try some scaling, and we'll make some adjustments in scaling. We'll come down and hit play again and see how that changes the animation. So there's a lot of different options that we can have here. Point being, once you have your animation set, you can really just come in and start trying out different options within each setting within the image effects.